No,
earlier
they
was
look
that,
like
there
shit
is no
takes.
nuance.
This is my trigger. They look like shit takes because the conventional knowledge and the circle jerk around them is fucking wrong. I'm sorry. I promised you I wouldn't do this. I was Reformed Destiny. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spoil the debate if it actually happens. Here it comes. People love that, dude. It is an amazingly good tip for like getting to get like that dipshit that tweets out all the fucking attacks against Dems is fucking gone. He left. He's out of her fucking campaign.
Hello?
It's too early for me to be this triggered. Just hold on.
All right, sure.
Just listen. Have you ever seen the meme? They hated him because he spoke the truth.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the story of my life on Twitter. Do you understand?
No.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
why?
Yes, it is.
Oh my god, stop. I can't breathe. Okay, look, there's literally only one person that I feel like is like really, really like, I mean, never mind, there's not one person, I'm trolling. There are definitely way more people that are giving you the benefit of the doubt. And the reason why they're having like this really strong like feeling that like you're no longer a liberal or something is because of these takes. But like
Yeah, but the problem is that people just have dumb fucking ideas. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and it bothers me. Just because I'm going to agree with people on the left about something doesn't mean that all of a sudden that's carte blanche to make any shit-ass argument they want. Like a lot of these people that are left-leaning have no idea what even the fundamental, like, levels of economics that they need to understand everything. For instance, all these people that are saying like, oh, well, if owning a home isn't a good investment, why do landlords do it? That's like me saying I'm going to go buy a taxi as a car, and all of a sudden my car's going to be worth more because it's a fucking taxi. Because taxi drivers make money off of their cars. Like, why do you think buying a piece of real estate has relevance to what homeowners do or landlords do if you don't actually rent out your property? It doesn't make any sense. There's like so much dumb shit like that.
yeah, no, that's a completely no, I 100% agree. I mean, this is exactly like, not to fucking non sequitur, but like I think this is the perfect analogy, which is I'm very pro-choice, but I like cringe every time somebody mention me making laws about women's bodies. It's like that's the whole way the fucking like government works. What do you mean?
Yeah, of course.
The government works basically. I'm sorry, but like base representation is not a good idea. Look at fucking Kamala Harris. Like you need more than just passive representation. Okay.
Sure.
Holy shit! It makes me fucking laugh, dude.
Listen, nothing that I said about homeowning is false, okay? Do you understand? What do you disagree with me about? Go, hit me up.
Okay. I okay. Wait, now I'm nervous.
Good, you should be. I'm just kidding. Listen, I'm in a nice mood, okay? I'll be nice.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, there's a lot of other points, but like I want to literally focus on just how like the amount of like money you could be saving, because obviously there are a bunch of advantages in living on your own property that don't come with like renting, right? But the main point that you're making is just on
like what?
Like being able to make any adjustment you want to your place without having to ask for permission from your fucking landlord.
So you're telling me that by owning property, you have the privilege of incurring additional cost. That you're already starting off. Okay, but this is already a bad foot for somebody that's looking at this as a store of wealth or a way to build wealth, right? Because now you're talking about incurring a cost already.
But I'm not talking about these incredible costs. I'm talking about just very small stuff. Like, you'd be surprised how like stringent some landowners are. Like, it's to the point where it's like, no, you're not allowed to drill anything into these walls. And it's like, I don't think people are incurring crazy costs because they want to put a painting on their wall. You know what I mean?
Okay,
or even something smaller, like
you can hang paintings without drilling into the wall. I mean, there's plenty of no stick. I have them for my shitty. Oh no, I'm sorry. I have it for like the stuff that I hang around in my place. Like I don't think you need to like drill into.
Yeah, that's a fair argument, but even something smaller like painting your fucking place, like it's to the point where it's like, oh no, because of regulations, this is the exact color, or like that you're not allowed to use these paints, you're not allowed to do. It's like, okay, cool, great, or like this is a bigger cost, but like there are places that like literally won't allow you to have like a dryer or a washer or whatever, right? You're not allowed to purchase it yourself or like pay for it yourself.
Stop. Okay, I love you so much. You know that I love you, right? Okay, I love you, but you are triggering the ever living shit out of me. Okay, you can't just buy a washer or dryer and put it in your house. There has to be like a hookup. Like, no, you can't. There must be infrastructure in place for these things. You can't just have an apartment and be like, oh, I'm just gonna throw a washer in the corner. There is a lot of plumbing that goes into having a washing machine. There's a lot of electrical work that goes into having a dryer. You can't just throw these into a place. Like,
No. I'm not talking about a very traditional washer. I'm talking about one of those fucking washers that I think they're called like panda washers, where like they're just like, you literally plug them in and then you like take like the fucking hose and you just put it into your fucking sink or whatever the fuck. But like there are places that are very against that, and they're like, well, you're going to charge up the fucking water bill and we're not, and you're going to charge up like the electricity for the place and you're not allowed to do that. Like, I'm not talking about
this
actual, like,
might be true, but this is such a weird one-off. Firstly, I don't even know if that's true. If I wanted to use my drain a ton, I don't know if my landlord is going to tell me that I can't do that. I have to pay my water bill anyway. Like, you're telling
it depends where you're
so living. You're telling me that there are places that, like, if I wanted to buy one of these weird washing machines to set it on the drain, they would be like, you're draining too much water? Can they even know that?
Yeah. So it's, but here's the thing. It's against regulation. If they don't find out, they don't find out. But if they do find out, then you're kind of like,
okay, I'll grant you this, but I'm 99% sure this is not true. But I'll grant it just because it's not even relevant to the overall argument. If you really want a place with a washer-dryer, just buy a place with a washer-dryer.
Okay, and then also here's my next point, which is there's also the convenience of like noise disturbances. Like if you live on your own fucking property, you don't have to worry about fucking noise disturbances. If you want to fuck at like, I don't know, 1,000 decibels or whatever, that's completely fine. But like if you live in an apartment,
if you are at the level of privilege in your life where you can choose the place you want to live based on the noise you make while fucking, you are already so far above and beyond the
that's
actual.
not necessarily true. No,
that is absolutely true.
Okay, there are properties in fucking like I think Pennsylvania or Virginia or some shit that are like 200,000. Like that's the flat cost of the fucking place, which is not that much for a household. And you get like a couple acres or some shit. Like it's a lot of space for your property. You are like a good amount away from the next household that you can make a good amount of noise and no one will complain about it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that like choosing a piece of property based on the noise that you anticipate on making is, you are in such a privileged financial position if this is actually the determining factor for you choosing a house.
Well, I'm not saying it's the determining factor that of you.
Wait, then why are you bringing it up?
Because I'm bringing up the fact that like this is just an added benefit of owning rather than renting.
But this added intangible benefit doesn't make up for the extreme volatility that a poor person might incur trying to buy a house to build wealth. It's a non-factor. Like nobody has ever had the decision between renting or buying property, and then the fact that they could make a lot of noise on one ends up skewing it in their favor for buying. Also, you could just rent a house. You don't have to buy a house. You could just rent a house, and you would have all these same advantages anyway without having to take on the volatility of owning a home.
How many houses are available in the like renting market as opposed to like apartments? I feel like the majority of people who are renting are pretty much in majority renting apartments, not necessarily houses.
I mean, I don't know if I could access broad numbers, but I'm 99% sure that in any housing market we look at, I can find houses to rent as well as apartments. I mean, you could give me a city and we could look up like rental houses in X city, and I'm pretty sure you're going to find it anywhere that you look in the United States.
Well, yeah, there's always going to be houses available to rent, but I'm saying the majority of them and the majority of people who are looking to rent an apartment, yeah?
The majority of people that are renting apartments because you can't buy apartments. It's a bad selection bias, right?
That's not true. You can totally buy apartments.
Condos are very rare compared to renting apartments.
No. I'm sorry. I worked in appraisals and in real estate in New York, and I can tell you there's a majority of properties you literally can outright buy that are either co-ops or condos, and they're completely indifferentiable from like actual like apartments. There's no difference other than the fact that like they call them something else.
Okay, I can't find the numbers for if there are more condos or apartments. I don't know what the answer to this is. I still don't even see how this is relevant to the argument we're making, though.
Okay, well, let's get back on the original point of the argument, then.
Okay, well, wait, so why did we bring up condos? Oh, because you said the vast majority of people looking to rent are looking to rent apartments. What does that have to do with anything?
Stupid Malacca.
Well, we're talking about how financially viable it is. Like, renting out a house is going to be a lot more expensive than renting out an apartment. And if you're looking to save money and you're looking to reinvest it and increase how much money you have, then you're not going to be renting a house.
Renting a house is probably going to be cheaper than buying a house. Much the same as renting an apartment, I imagine, is probably cheaper than buying a condo.
Maybe in the short term, but not necessarily in the long term.
Sure, in the long term. So when you get to like the 7-year window, past that, it might become preferential to own the home. But even that is still a toss-up, and that's subject to the volatile swings of the housing market, and that's subject to the national housing market. So your own individual place might have problems, and then the national housing market could undergo something like in 2007 or any other housing bubble. And this could be subject to massive maintenance costs that you might get unlucky and run into for your house. So for instance, if you get fucked and in the beginning of the life of the loan, you have like a roof that you have to replace, for instance, it's going to take you a decade to recover those fucking costs. I mean, like, all of this is like so much volatility that a person is going to assume who already has like no financial wealth, who has no basis to even take on these risks.
Okay, the one point I will give you 100% is actually, making repairs on your place, right? You end up having to incur all those charges yourself. And if you just happen to get fucked over, you get fucked over, right? Sure, you can say that there is a level of convenience, but this is exact argument that people use in terms of health insurance about like longer wait times. I think we had a hole in my ceiling in New York for literally like 2 years before our landlord fixed it. So yeah, sure, there is that, right? That like, longer wait times, healthcare. I think you understand the analogy that I'm making, but I think in the other cases, it doesn't necessarily hold up as much. I think that, okay, so here's the thing. The original tweet that I have any content with, right, or that is contentious, is throwing money down the drain. The whole point is that in the long run, owning a house is going to be less expensive than renting a place, right? So once you've already, and here's the thing, once you've already spent your money on your rent, you have nothing sort of like to show for it afterwards, right?
Whereas you have a place to live.
No. In a longer sense, you don't actually own anything.
So the word you're looking for is you're not building equity when you rent a piece of property. However,
well, no, that's not necessarily true because of the whole point that you're saying that like you would be reinvesting the difference. Yeah.
So if you just reinvest your money that you would have spent owning a home while renting, now you actually have equity that you're growing that's not subject to you. Like, in order to pull your equity out of like a Vanguard account, you don't have to take a home equity loan. You don't have to stay with it for 7+ years in order to recover closing costs that get spread out over the life of a loan. You don't have to worry about when you withdraw because of the swing in your housing market where you're at. Maybe right now it's a buyer's market and not a seller's market. Maybe houses are like there's a whole bunch of things that make owning that house so much more volatile. And if this is like 90% of your net worth, I don't know. It just seems like if somebody would have come to me and say like, hey, I was thinking of putting 100,000 into mutual funds or 100,000 into Amazon stock. What should I do? Like, what the fuck? You always go with the mutual funds. You always want to diversify your assets so that you can absorb, or because you don't want to be in a position where you have to deal with that much risk, right? Like the whole market is less likely to do poorly than just Amazon. Yeah. But why do people not say the same for houses, right? If you want to make a good investment in housing, I think there are ETFs that track like the broad housing market, if that's really what you're after. But putting all of your money into a single undiversified asset like that, and then hoping that you'll make money back in the future, and it's not generating revenue for you, and you might have maintenance costs associated with it that you never have to pay on security or whatever. Like, it's just like not.
But I think that this is kind of reductive in nature. I don't think that the majority of people who are purchasing houses are really running a great deal of risk in whether or not their property is going to get fucked over. I mean, yeah, sure, there are minority cases like Flint where like literally no one is going to leave Flint because their property just fucking absolutely tanked, right?
I mean, but that's not true. These kinds of things happen all the time. Look at places like Detroit, places where you have like big manufacturing places. In Omaha, I'm pretty sure the housing prices hurt a little bit when ConAgra left our city. It was a huge employer and they left, and then people got fucked for it. Look at 2007.
Yeah, but for every city where like this is happening, where like your house is in an area where like the prices are declining, there's also another area where prices are increasing. It's not necessarily just like
sure, but what you're talking about now becomes a financial gamble with somebody that's doing it with 90% of their net worth. Like, for instance, I would never you're literally talking, oh my god, you're literally talking about leveraging debt to sink most of your net worth into a highly volatile asset that might incur additional cost that would outweigh any possible gains you made anyway. Like, on every single possible front, this is a horrible investment. Like, nobody would suggest this. Like, this, it's kind of like saying like you should go to the bank, take out a big loan, and then buy a bunch of stock in a company, and maybe that company actually comes to you and charges you money to own that stock later, and that company might actually go bankrupt. Like, there's so much wrong with looking at. I hate this common knowledge idea that a home is an investment. It's a horrible investment. There are so many other better ways to invest your money.
But here's the thing: just because there are better ways to invest your money doesn't necessarily mean that people know how to fucking invest their money better than that. You know what I mean? Like you're over assuming how much information that people understand in terms of the stock market and being able to invest their money.
But if a non financially literate friend came up to me and was like, hey, I don't know much about finances, what should I do? I would be like, oh, well, it's easier to just buy a house. I would say like, oh, we'll spend like 5 minutes reading about mutual funds and then just put like $500 a month into this like account in like fucking Vanguard or in your fucking bank or in some other brokerage service. Like,
That's not good advice. What?
wait, what do you mean? That's way better advice. It's like, oh, well, go buy a house.
Okay. I understand the point that you're making, but I don't think that necessarily. I mean, potentially it'd be equal amounts of risk, but definitely not greater risk in terms of buying a house than it is in putting your money in markets, especially if you know absolutely nothing in markets. I don't think.
Yeah, just buy a mutual
5 minutes
fund.
reading about that.
You don't have to know anything about markets. Just buy a mutual. Buy an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. I don't know fuck all about markets, and that's where my money sits. Like, you don't have to know anything about markets to buy like a broad, boring 7% annual return mutual fund, and you're still gonna beat the amount of money that people are gonna waste like trying to use housing as an investment.
That's okay. This is a fair point, but here's my exact statement earlier, which is that like it's not that you're making these like absolute shit takes. They just look like shit takes because they're nuanced. And your claim earlier,
they look
that,
like
there
shit
is no
takes.
nuance.
This is my trigger. They look like shit takes because the conventional knowledge and the circle jerk around them is fucking wrong. Because a whole bunch of dipshit socialists online are literally in my mentions going, okay, well, if owning homes is so bad, why do landlords exist? Because they fucking read that in some Chapo shithouse forum, not realizing that the reason why landlords make money is because they turn their asset into something that generates revenue for them. That you don't become a landlord that makes money by living in your fucking house that you fucking buy to rent out to other people. Like I said, that's the equivalent of me buying a fucking taxi and driving it around the city and then wondering, well, why isn't my taxi making me any money? It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, but I'm not making that fucking claim. I'm not saying that, like, and I'm not saying everybody who ever replies to you and disagrees with you is making the correct assumptions ever and actually knows what they're talking about. I'm not making that claim at all. I fucking had an ethereal experience in your Discord the other day with someone who didn't understand. Like, I'm not gonna go into. I don't want to like roast people. But no. I'm not saying anything about like the idiots who are like who happen to be following you and making bad claims. I'm just saying that like there you have to admit that there is at least a bit of nuance in here, and I don't necessarily agree with you that overall in reinvesting your money is better than purchasing a house.
I implore you. Listen, someday you said you are going to school to be an accountant, right? Yeah. Today on your stream, you know what you can do? You should hop on your stream. We've done it on our stream. Reckful's done it on his. I can show you his video. You should open a spreadsheet, and then you could go to a major city, and then you could compare the cost of renting a piece of property versus mortgaging a new house there. And then you can reinvest that money. You can track the broad gains that the market has made over the past 100 years, the historic gains or whatever of the Dow Jones, the S&P 500. And then you can compare, well, this much money was saved for the renter versus the homeowner, and he reinvests it. And let's see after 20 years who has more equity. Because oftentimes, even in a longer time horizon, even at a 10 or 20 or 30-year time horizon, the apartment renter is going to have more equity than the homeowner. But even though the homeowner is building equity in his piece of property, because the rental person can build equity in a real estate portfolio that's way more versatile, way more diversified, way more liquidable, has more liquidity. Yeah. Try it later on stream, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But, okay, that's all I had, okay? I love you, buddy. It's been fun. We'll talk later, okay?
Have fun.
Wait a second. Have you heard about the DN tax?
No, not necessarily. Why?
These nuts! All right, get the fuck out of my fucking
you're
Discord.
So fucking funny, dude.
Bye.
Yeah,
I love you. Be careful, okay?
Amazing.
Yeah.
But you are then not calculating the cost compared to someone who no longer has to rent. If one person has 200,000 equity in a house and another person has 300,000 equity in an investment portfolio, they could literally just buy a house upfront in cash for 200K. And they don't even have to deal with fucking closing costs of a loan. Like, what the fuck?
Right, yeah. And then last thing is, have you ever heard of Richard Andy?
No. Richard Andy?
You might know him by his nickname, Dick.
Dick Andy?
Dick Andy's nuts in your face. Got him.
God damn it. Okay, I got 3 hours of sleep, boys, so today's gonna be a rough one. I'm gonna be super grumpy today. Now, I know this is very far outside your normal stream experience, so just giving you a warning, okay? How are you a shitter to think Triss will ever be better than Yen?
Memes.
Yen literally is a fucking rapist, okay? Geralt had, like, his fucking memory wiped and amnesia shit. She took advantage of it. She's a bad faith actor, okay? Get this dumb fucking Yennefer shit out of here. She's a bitch, and not in the good way. Not like in the way, like, Triss is kind of a bitch. She's a bitch in a good way. That's a strong woman. Yennefer is just like some stick-up-her-ass piece of shit motherfucker. Fuck that. Triss is so much better. That was Triss? You mixed them? Didn't Geralt have like his fucking... Didn't Geralt have like a literal fucking spell placed on him to make him be in love with fucking Yennefer or whatever? And then after the spell wore off, you're like, hey, by the way, bitch, I don't like you, motherfucker. That's Triss? He's the one who placed it? That's wait, that's not... Wait, what do you mean? That's Yennefer. You mixed them up? No! Geralt had a spell placed on him that made him be in love with Yennefer. Wait, did you guys even play the fucking games? What the fuck are you talking about? You're right, Yennefer and Geralt had a love spell. I played all the Witcher games. All these people have reached. Thank you! Get these fake fucking fans. Looks like you guys had your mind wiped by Yennefer too. Yennefer waifus are so fucking shit. They're cringe. Cringe as fuck, dude. Cringe as fuck. Triss is better in every way, okay? You mix the first thing up, Triss slept with Geralt after memory loss. That doesn't count because Triss is awesome and hot as fuck, so that's not rape anyway, okay? I know you're triggered. Get these MRAs out of here. The rational guy said he'd be on this weekend. Dude, that guy is a fucking walking, talking demagogue machine, okay? That guy's gonna come on here. He's gonna spit out. Here, I'll give you... okay. Are you ready? Okay, here's this. I'm sorry. I promised you I wouldn't do this. I was Reform Destiny. I'm going to do it. I'm going to spoil the debate if it actually happens. Here it comes. Okay? He comes in. Strong claim 1. Destiny, you're wrong. Look at this article that I have that says that building wealth, that wealth, owning a home is actually a big part of a person's wealth. Counter argument by Destiny. Just because building a home is a big part of a lot of people's wealth doesn't mean that's an optimal way to build wealth. You understand that, right? And then his kind of, okay, well, what about when rich people buy homes? And okay, well, rich people are in a different position to take advantage of leveraging debt to build wealth in ways that poor people necessarily aren't. The idea of sinking all of your money into some volatile asset that is not diversified and is subject to a great deal of risk that isn't even going to return money for you unless you've lived there for like fucking 7 years. And even at that, it's not fucking guaranteed. It's a really dumb idea for okay, Destiny, well, this is a lot more of a nuanced take than you had on Twitter when you just said that buying a home isn't a great way to build wealth, because on the very, very technical level, it kind of sort of is. Maybe it's just a bad way to build wealth, but it still builds wealth, Destiny. And I'm real upset about your horrible lefty takes on Twitter. That's going to be the whole debate. There you go, okay? There it is. What did he mean by this? The Matt Lech guy? This guy supposedly works for the Young Turks? Why does this dumb fuck follow me? Wait, does he? Or does he? Who is this guy? Somebody told me that he works for like either the Michael Brooks, Sam Cedar people, or he works for like the Young Turks as a journalist or some shit. The Majority Report? This dumb fuck tweets. What did this guy tweet? It was the dumbest fucking tweets I've ever read in my entire fucking life. This is precisely what my point has been for those wondering why I'm mad at those centrist shitters trying to nuke a popular policy. What did this guy tweet? Where was it? I'm not gonna find it. This guy fucking tweets all day. What the fuck? Wait, was this guy the one? Who was the guy that tweeted, if Obama liked you so much, Biden, why didn't he endorse you? What a dumb fucking tweet. Why the fuck would you expect Obama to come out and endorse somebody this early in the fucking primary stage? Even Obama didn't even endorse fucking Hillary until the primaries were fucking over. That was Ken Klippenstern? Oh, is that a TYT guy? I don't know. I don't care, dude. I can't wait to talk to Michael Brooks.
The Twitter
hopefully it'll be
has been good.
A
Champ.
fucking mind-bendingly fucking stupid conversation. Holy shit. Is priming a question inherently bad? The thing is that when you prime a question, it's to get a particular answer. And if you prime the fuck out of a question and you still only get to like fucking 50 whatever percent, that's pretty fucking bad. Like if I tell you, hey, like if I ask a question like, how do you feel about Destiny tier 5 subs? And then you like, maybe the response I get is at like, oh, 30%. Oh shit, is Trix ready? Oh, hey, okay, right? Maybe you get like a 30% approval from DGG chat. Oh yeah, tier 5 subs sound awesome. Then let's say I ask a question. Hey, so tier 5 subs are going to improve the overall experience of the DGG chat. There's going to be more features in the chat. I'm going to do more cool things on stream, and it's going to make everybody's lives way fucking better. How do you feel about tier 5 subs? Then that support number is going to massively go up, right? It's called priming. Like this is like a super well-known phenomenon. Stalled when he came on. Didn't Stalled talk about this? You know, it's not even related to necessarily polling. Like this is like a psychology phenomenon. Oh fuck! I want to watch a wait. Do you have topics? Hold on, make Trags do some work before we... Okay, priming psychology. Oh my God, what is the... There is an awesome experiment where students are in a classroom. They're asked how they feel about, like, love or something. There are so many of these, like, priming experiments.
It's on with his mission later on in the show. Okay, time to move on. Now then, here is a question for you. How gullible do you think you are? Because recent research seems to suggest that we're incredibly prone to the power of suggestion. We just can't help ourselves. Anyway, we have set up an experiment to put that to the test. So I'm a pretty decisive person. I make my own decisions. I understand the reasons why I make the choices I do. Or do I? I mean, does anyone? I want to see if we can change the way people act without them realizing they're being manipulated. We've asked members of the public to take part in a series of tests which are being run for us by psychologist Peter Naish.
So, nothing nasty to do, so hopefully you'll be happy to stay right the way through.
The participants are given a one-handed counting task.
Ready, steady, go.
They're told we're looking at left and right-handedness, but this is just a front.
Now,
a second group of similar volunteers do the same test, but instead of boring old bits of paper,
this is where we get you to count a pretty large pile of money.
They get to count real banknotes. This is the only difference between the two groups. Let's see if that small difference can affect their behaviour.
The reason homeowning has been a good investment is because you can get a huge loan today to start building equity today. You can't go to a bank and get a $200K loan to invest in the markets when you've just started your career. The difference, though, is that when you invest in markets, when I buy securities, I will never, ever incur a cost for owning a share of a company. Do you not understand that? I'm never going to have to replace the roof on my Vanguard account. I'm never going to have an air conditioning unit or plumbing or an electrical fire or any type of thing like that go bad on a security that I own. So yeah, can you leverage debt in a unique way for real estate that you can't necessarily leverage for buying securities? For sure. But that's not really relevant unless you're actually going to generate revenue with that asset. If you want to tell me, Destiny, I want to leverage a fuck ton of debt to buy like a rental unit that I'm going to rent to other people to generate revenue with, yeah, fuck it, sure, go ahead. Because at least that rental income you're going to be earning is going to be a big hedge on the volatility of normally owning a home. But if you're telling me like, oh, well, you're going to leverage a fuck ton of debt to buy a place and fucking live in it, okay, sure. I mean, I guess if you understand you're spending a lot just to live somewhere, but you're not getting anything for your money. Don't bullshit yourself and think you're getting something, you know, for your in exchange for your fucking loan. Sorry, okay.
Now, we're going to give you some sweets.
We've asked both groups to compare 2 bowls of sweets.
What we want you to do is say which you find the most chocolatey, the most crunchy, and so on.
Given 10 minutes to make their decisions,
When
something
did
rather interesting
criticism of
emerges.
policy and position based on their merit become enlightened? Centrism. Kill me. Pepe hands.
Fuck me, dude.
On the left, those who counted paper only eat enough to answer the questions.
Good luck taking on
Okay.
the commies. Team
Correction.
Ogden.
I was wrong. You actually can lose money horribly on stocks like that because you could actually take out a loan or you could spend all of your money on fucking derivatives, okay? You could buy options if you wanted to, okay? So there is an equivalent, I guess, if you want to buy a fuck ton of options, okay? There are literally tons of economists that agree buying a house on average is a bad investment. Sure, but it's like, this is something that I think I can show deductively. We don't even have to consort with like empirical data on this. Like, it's just...
But the people who counted money just kept on eating.
Destiny, I know this isn't your argument, but in the UK, there are a good chunk of first-time buyer provisions that make buying a house pretty decent as an investment. Sure, but if anything, that kind of supports my argument. If housing is so, like, naturally not profitable that people need, like, special incentive structures to even consider it over just renting, I mean, it kind of looks like it's not probably that good of a deal then, right?
Amazingly, the group that handled the money ate 50% more of the sweets. It seems money can make you hungry. This effect is called priming, influencing a specific behaviour without the person being aware of it. But how can money have an effect on hunger?
Thanks, Nim.
Well, money seems to trigger an innate desire, and in many ways having money is the same as having resources. And back in the dim, distant past...
Why invest in an intangible asset when you can invest in a tangible asset? What? I'm sorry. Is this conservative talk radio? What the fuck? Who the fuck cares about an intangible asset? If I were to offer you a fucking house or the equivalent cost of that house in shares of Amazon, like, what do you mean? Like, oh, well, I can point to the house. That's a tangible asset. Okay, and I can fucking set your house on fucking fire, dog. Like, you can have a fucking hurricane destroy your shit. You can have a tornado run your shit over. You can have an earthquake run your shit over. Just because an asset is tangible doesn't necessarily make it better than an intangible asset, like shares of a company.
Resources meant food.
I don't even know what the point of this video is anymore. We paused it so many times. What are we even testing right now?
Money and food are linked by the same basic urge to survive.
Ugh, guys, put trash bags in your garbage cans. This is disgusting as fuck.
You could argue that it's not that hard to change someone's hunger level. But my psychologist friend Peter tells me we can also change how people treat each other, again without them realising they're being manipulated. I have to see this. First, we reinforce the priming. Both groups get an identical word task, except that for one group, the words are related to money and wealth. Then, we secretly film them and watch their behaviour. As my friend struggles with a pile of papers, some of our volunteers stop to help her. But not everyone feels the need to help. Guess what? Those who handled the money are more likely to keep on walking.
Oh man, that's really bad.
I'm an awful person.
No.
It's not that they're simply being unhelpful. Psychologists have studied this and found all kinds of subtleties. It just seems that money makes you more self-reliant. And self-reliant people expect other people to be self-reliant too.
The great conservative conundrum. If I was able to make it in this world, by the way, my parents paid for every single thing I had until I was 26, you should be able to as well.
Our primed volunteers don't think my friend needs help with her drop papers. Money doesn't just change the way we feel about people, apparently it changes the way we feel, full stop. So we're going to test that out here with a little ice-cold torture. That's really painful. Right, it's time to see if our money priming has changed how much pain our volunteers feel.
Yeah, it's a bit nippy, isn't it?
Yeah, quite painful.
There's no pressure, you can take it out whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to...
This is
Okay,
incredible.
well done.
As a group, those who handled the money are coping in the icy water for twice as long as the group who handled the paper.
If I stood here for an hour, would you kind of call an ambulance or something?
Researchers think that the reason for the pain-reducing effect of money is again due to psychological links.
Surely this pain shit is Mimi. Man, someday, some week, we are going to spend like a whole fucking week just going over all the random dumb shit I've ever learned in fucking psych classes. There is so much unbelievably interesting shit about how insanely fucking irrational humans are. It would blow your fucking mind how crazy, how... Oh God, like you have no idea how horribly stupid you are as a human. It was one of the most important, one of the most humbling classes. I've said this a million times, and I'll say this again. One of the most humbling fucking classes I ever took in my life was the equivalent of like a Psych 101 class in high school, right? Is like learning about how many different ways I make bad judgments about things, like how many different ways you are susceptible to biases, you're incapable of evaluating situations, you are influenced by things that you didn't even fucking consider about shit. Like there are so many different things. Some of you might even be innately aware of this. Because of, for instance, like dealing with friends. Like here's like a really simple thing. A lot of people, you maybe are aware of this because it's a cultural meme, right? A lot of people don't realize how fucking upset they get when they're hungry, right? It seems like a meme, but like there are times, and this even happens in my life sometimes, where like I'm kind of grumpy and I stop and I think it's like, hold on, fuck. Should I just like fucking eat? Maybe I just need to eat something. Or if you've ever dealt with a fucking kid before, okay? God fucking damn it. Kids get really fucking grumpy when they need to sleep and they don't realize it. And like, if you're a parent, I can tell this with Nathan instantly, right? When it's like, motherfucker, you need a goddamn nap. Not a nap because I'm tired of dealing with your fucking shit, but you need a nap because you are fucking tired and grumpy, and it is so fucking obvious. You need to lay your ass down, rest for 1 hour, and then come back and you will be 100% better. Like, holy shit. Like, there's like so many different subtle things that influence our mood, like on a day-to-day basis. Like, and not just like a little bit, like, oh, like maybe you'll be a little bit more, but they can have like dramatic swings in terms of how you act towards other people or treat other people or how you view certain events or the decisions that you make.
I have been subbed for 10 months.
Yeah, fuck.
And yet somehow we are the superior life form on Earth. Go butterfly. Thanks.
This is a real bad take. Could you imagine if you chose a do you want your taxes to go up as compared to a question of do you want your taxes to go up to fund the EPA so you can actually breathe outside, sir? Wait, where's the bad take? I don't understand. Like telling/order someone to do X task versus ask them if they could do X task? Oh yeah, sure. I think I brought this up in a conversation I had with someone a few days ago even, where like the difference between like, dude, if you want to make somebody really fucking hate you, I think D9 even said this in one of his videos. There's a term called kill him with kindness. If you really want to fucking get under somebody's skin, if there is somebody at like a workplace that's confronting you with something or somebody, usually when people confront you with a problem, usually if somebody confronts you with a problem, you can try this in any part of your life and go and post to my subreddit if I'm wrong and I'll show up and I'll suck your dick, okay? If you have somebody at work comes up to you and says, hey, you fucked this thing up, and it's a real bitchy piece of shit person, and you know they hate you, and you know nothing you do is ever going to change their mind, right? And you look at that person, your natural instinct is always to get defensive. That's what you always want to do. Like, oh, well, I didn't fuck it up, blah, 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 right? If you tell that person, hey, you know what? I think you're right. I did make this mistake. You really seem like you know what you're talking about. Can you help me like fix this? That person can't hate you. They might even hate themselves for how incapable they are of hating you at that point. Because as soon as you've moved into the position of asking somebody for help for something, it is one of the highest forms of flattery that makes you an impossible person to hate. That like there are like little mind things like that when you deal with people that are incredibly powerful.
The true way to invest your money is to put it all on Ninja and Doc Twitch stocks bugged. Bonus memes smell like pee pee poo poo duckers.
I don't know if this is actually like recommended. There's like doesn't it seem pathetic though? To the weak man, to the weak person, it might seem pathetic. Because to the strong person, you think that being alpha is like constantly being on top of somebody, is constantly shitting on somebody, is constantly attacking someone to show how fucking alpha you are. But the real alpha is using your mind to bend people to your will, okay? You can sit there and fight with a boss all day long, or you could use your superior big alpha brain to force them against their will to like you because of how manipulative you are with the way that you treat them, okay? I had a guy at the casino that, this is back when I was just an employee, that hated my fucking guts. And this was one of the guys that actually taught me, because I was tired of it, because I didn't like the fact. I think it was because there was another girl that worked there, Steph, who was so fucking cute. This girl was so cute. But I think he got jealous because I was talking to her too much or something. I don't know. He was one of those guys that's like had a crush on her for like 2 years, but like never fucking did anything. So whatever. But like he started to hate me at work, and it was getting really fucking old because we worked all the time, and it was kind of annoying having it. And this guy knew how to cook. Even though he was front of house, he knew how to cook, and I didn't know how to cook. So every time there was like some downtime or whatever, I would ask him. I'd be like, hey, like there's one order that came in or whatever. Like, can you show me how to do like steaks or whatever? Like, I don't know how to cook this or whatever. And by the end of like a 2-month period, like this guy guy and I were like best friends. Like he was like confiding in me like with shit about like this girl or whatever, and like on top of everything, like this guy went from absolutely fucking hating me to like being like a close friend at the casino. Like it was insane. This dumbass fucking book that I read in school, I don't know if it's good. It's this fucking book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I feel like I pulled like so many little random fucking tips and shit out of this. I don't know if it's like a recommended book or not. I don't even know where I got this, but I got this in like 8th grade. And I was like, oh, fuck it. And I started reading it. I was like, there is so much crazy good information in here. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Holy fuck. There is so much shit in here. Remember people's names is another good one. Oh, I think I pulled that advice out of this book. When you meet somebody, what I try to do, I do try to do this. Whenever I meet somebody, I try to remember their name and one piece of information about them. Dude, people feel so special. If you can walk up to somebody and be like, oh shit, what's up? Oh yeah, you're fucking like John. How is the thing going that you whatever mentioned last time? Like you said that you were doing this thing. How's that going? Dude, if you can remember that about somebody when you meet them, like coming back on after not seeing them for a while, oh my God, people think that you are like the most kind, attentive, awesome, wonderful person ever. People love that, dude. It is an amazingly good tip for like getting to get like trying to remember just like one piece of information about you and then a name. If you ever listen to me talk, this is kind of a meme thing. I brought this up before in chat. Wait, who's watching right now? Okay. Listen. Okay, I brought this up before, but like this is like a common thing too when talking to girls, right? If you're trying to like figure out like how to show okay, well first of all, nothing you do can ever fake genuine interest, okay? There is no tip or trick for that. If you're trying to fake genuine interest in somebody, it'll never fucking work. Don't do that, right? But there's a technique in comedy called a callback, right? Where you make a joke related to something that was earlier in the skit. It's really, really effective if you can make a joke when you're talking to somebody about something they said like earlier in the conversation, because you instantly like deepen the connection you have with that person like a million fucking times over. Because not only did you make a joke and you make them laugh, so be funny, by the way, that's a prerequisite of this, but you also make them feel like, oh, holy shit, like he remembers something that I said earlier in the conversation, like he's super invested in what I'm saying. Most people, when you talk to them, expect you to forget almost everything they fucking told you, like because just a lot of people do. But if you can hold on to pieces of information like that and then incorporate it or reincorporate it into a conversation later, holy fuck. It's kind of like learning how to spot quote, like in a literature class. Instead of just like quoting like 10 fucking paragraphs of like a book, you like take like a phrase or whatever and you work it into your own words, and it makes it feel like you have a better grasp of the material, right? Same thing when you're talking to somebody. If you can take something that they said earlier in a conversation, like somebody tells you that they fucking hate your sibling, they hate their siblings and they can't wait to move out or whatever, and then later on they mention, I can't think of an example on top of my head, right? But like being able to like rework in past content to a current conversation, super, super, super effective. Destiny, do you honestly believe you've got the perfect beliefs? Yes, I do. I almost took the bait, but I see your name is Cuban Soy Boy, and I'm pretty sure you spent the last like 2 days in my chat relentlessly asking me to debate. Logs him, boys, because I remember your name, because I see you type it like a million fucking times. Nice try, though. Okay, hold on. I need to put pants on. Not that I don't have pants on, because apparently nobody does that but me. One sec. Is there a book to be more witty or funny? Man, I don't know. Like, one of the problems with being funny is that, like, and I've said this before, well, fuck. This is a really hard one. Fuck. Me and Jeff actually talked about this before on a podcast or something, and he agreed with most of what I had to say. I consider him to be a really funny person, or he was really funny before he died. If you for every joke that you tell that's like really funny as a person, you've told like a million horrible jokes that aren't funny at all. It's really important to be able to fail. Like anybody that's like decently funny has told a million unfunny things or had a million jokes fall flat on their face. Like if comedy is something that you're too shy or unwilling to experiment with, you're never going to be able to actually like be consistently funny. So like moving outside of your comfort zone, like taking an improv class or something, it are like steps that you can take to try to become like a little bit more humorous, you know? Clothing cannot be strapless on Mixer. Clothing can reveal more than a hint of cleavage, but still covers the entire visible body. Holy shit. You know what? Agree or disagree with the Mixer, these are some real ass fucking standards. Amen. Nicely done. 18 plus stream. The chest must be covered from the bust line to the end of the rib cage. No undercleavage. Like, that's some exact fucking shit, okay? Like, love it or hate it, at least you know exactly, like, what the fuck is allowed. I like that.
Yo, my dude. Glad to keep subbing. The debacles this last month are interesting. It's definitely made me rethink some things. Would love to come on and ask you a question one of these days.
Wait, but you just subbed to me. Why didn't you just ask the question with your sub? Should I block us out on Twitter? I don't want to, because I don't want to never interact with him again. But like, it's kind of annoying that he's like constantly fucking, like, he snipes my tweets so much. It's just getting really old. Like, and it's always the same dumb fuck lefty takes. Dude, his whole subreddit is like obsessed with me. I shouldn't have started interacting with him again. Like, dude, oh my god. This is like the Dick Masterson shit, like, all over again. Like, holy fucking shit. Oh, by the way, not Tankies, by the way. What was the Soviet Union really like? This 272 album really gives some insight. Not Tankies, by the way. But like, holy shit. Yeah, like his subreddit is fucking obsessed with me. Am I dumb for not knowing the MLK quote until you mentioned it? I mean, probably not. It depends on what you listen to for it being popular or not. I saw Hassan's subreddit start to use it about me a few weeks ago, maybe 10 to 15 days ago. And then a little bit after they used it about me, I saw Hassan like kind of copied it and used it about me in his subreddit too. And now he's using it again. It's kind of funny that he like takes his talking points from his fucking subreddit to attack me. I think it's cute.
When do the Rust memes start again?
What's your opinion on support for Medicare for all going to 70% when asked if it guarantees health insurance as a right to all Americans? You can get it up to, I think, 52%. You can get it up to that high if you prime the fuck out of the question. That's the data that I saw. Oh. Can you tell us the quote? Basically, it has to do with Martin Luther King being critical of, at a time when black people were fighting for civil rights, a lot of white people were like, yo, chill, like, this civil rights shit is pretty extreme, dog. Like, I don't think white people are ready for this. And then Martin Luther King's idea is basically, hey, like, you can't put a timetable on another man's freedom. The white moderate is the largest roadblock that the black person has to deal with in order to get, like, their rights recognized or whatever. Dusty, I just think whether or not you think that Hassan took the idea to apply the quote to you and or not, I think he probably knew about it before then. Oh yeah, no, I'm sure he 100% knew about it before then. So it's a really popular quote, but I'm almost positive that he's only using it against me because his subreddit started and he's like, oh, that's a good idea. Otherwise, I don't think he would ever think to use that quote against me because it doesn't really make sense. Like, if you want to start using that MLK quote in that fashion, do you basically just say that literally anybody who's a moderate is like, you put the MLK quote on it? Like, that's like really weird. I don't know. Because that's essentially what they're doing to me about like healthcare. So if you're like, I think that you should get 20 an hour minimum wage. It's like, I don't think we can get 20 hour minimum wage. Maybe we should start with like 10 an hour minimum wage. You're like, oh, you only want 10 an hour minimum wage. Well, MLK's got some words for you, buddy. Like, oh, fuck, you got me. My bad, dude. The white moderate. I heard you were going vegan. I'm trying to go vegan. Right now, I go vegan on every day of the week, so Saturday is my one meat day. Like, I just try to do that. Oh. So you're a moderate vegan. MLK's got a quote for you, buddy. Like, okay. Fuck, you got me. I'm just kidding. I'm not going vegan. That was just an example. Okay, chill. Can we get Nate Silver on? I've got to be big enough to... No, he's like a pretty big guy, right? No, I don't think I could. I don't think I could talk to him. I would talk to Sean Carroll. Fuck, I love this. Oh, God. He's like my spirit animal right now so much. Holy shit. Why do you think providing a counterclaim to a misleading claim is priming a question? I'm genuinely curious. If I want to find out what you think about a particular idea, then I should just ask you that. if I say something like, if I were to say something like, what do you think about, do you think that stop signs are effective in the United States? That's an okay question. If I were to say, do you think that stop signs, a tool that's used to save lives in the United States, are effective, right? Or if I were to say, stop signs, a tool that makes traffic safer for people to navigate, well, now I'm hardcore priming the question. Do you understand the difference? Because if you see like that word safer, well, of course that's good, like yes. Or if you see the word like saving lives, of course that's good, yes, right? You're priming the question. You're not actually figuring out like, what do people think about this? You're finding out what they think about the other things you're saying, right? Okay, but you aren't talking to people that care about that, Destiny. You're talking to activists. What? Polls don't poll activists? What do you mean? I don't think you prime the question, Destiny. You prime the audience. Me personally? Oh, yeah, I probably do. I mean, I try not to as best I can, but holy fuck, I'm sure, of course. Like, apparently healthcare is easier to understand. Destiny understand healthcare. What? But doesn't the original questions polls about healthcare mislead the people that are polling? Wait, where? It doesn't just ask, like, what's your support for Medicare for all if all private insurance has to be dropped? I mean, it's hard to say, like, what misleads people, wouldn't mislead. Why can't you apologize to Hassan? Fuck Hassan. All right, we're done with that shit. I don't care anymore. He's been sniping my tweets for so long. I'm done playing nice. If he says dumb shit, I'll just make fun of him on Twitter like I do with anybody else. If he gets baited into coming on and debating with me, I'll just fucking make him rage quit another debate, and then we'll just move on like that. I don't give a fuck. It's really, really, really annoying having him, like, snipe, like, every single fucking tweet because he wants to say some cutesy dipshit-ass fucking bullshit. Because he's got, like, he'll just go and, like, circle jerk on his subreddit for 2 hours afterwards and then come to my subreddit and brigade the fuck out of it because it's not just enough for his subreddit to circle jerk him. He needs another subreddit to circle jerk him, too. Like, I don't care. I'm good on that.
Carry on, I'm gonna fucking knock you down a few inches, and trust me, you don't have many inches to go.
Oh, yeah? Really? Maybe I could borrow some from your waist, Greek. Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. Destiny, are you a Jake Pauler?
No,
That's the content I've been waiting for.
Today, man.
I can't help it, dude. I wish I could be Jake Paul sometimes.
So
you know?
dark.
Like, I had these dreams all the time that I walk through that suicide forest and I see you hanging there.
Oh my God!
No, that's really fucked up. I'm just kidding. We all know the rope could never hold you. No. That's so... Damn, what holy shit. I remember these. Okay, I'm done. Are you done bullying me, Greek? Can we go? Let's be friendly. Okay?
Oh God, dude.
Oh my God.
Destiny, this is like Mr. Mooten in League,
kidding.
man.
This is what happens when you try. This is what you try. This is what happens.
Do
when
not
you
do the
try-
victim card, Greek. You'll get him banned. Do not do the victim card thing. Greek.
I'm really upset. Carry on.
Holy shit. We played Rust for like 1 hour. Reply to this tweet though, Hassan's fans think he won. Hassan's fans will always think he won. Just like Sargon's fans always thinks he's won. Just like every alt-writer's fan, Dick's fans think he won. Like, why do you always ignore whenever you're wrong? Aren't debates about the truth? I don't know. I thought he said debates were just show. And I'm bored being a performer now, so back to my stream. Like, Hassan is literally, like, tweeting in the fucking studio at me. Like, when I'm not... Dude, he's so much more invested in these fucking Twitter fights than I am. I don't give a fuck. Nice Pelosi meme. Oh, how triggered are people today? So, Pelosi is trying to build bridges. She should have done this before lashing out publicly, because that's what a leader does. But this is really good of Pelosi. They said send her back, but Speaker Pelosi didn't just make arrangements to send me back. She went with me. So grateful for the honor to return to Mother Africa with the @Black Caucus and commemorate the year of return. Pelosi with Ilhan Omar. Also, AOC's chief of staff, that dipshit that tweets out all the fucking attacks against Dems, is fucking gone. He left. He's out of her fucking campaign. I've seen different people say how much he might be responsible for some of the aggressiveness of AOC behind the scenes, but that guy is fucking out of here.
After your drift away from the far left, what do you think about people like Sam Harris?
Two very,
you have
very,
shit on
very...
Harris for hours on end, but all of your conclusions are similar.
Cool.
Are there any differences outside of the academic debate?
What do you think about people like Sam Harris? Fuck Harris. Harris is an intellectual fucking hack. I don't like him. I never will like him. Nothing is ever going to make me like Sam Harris, okay? Fuck that guy. Fuck, what was I saying? Oh, this is the direction. This is like a very, very, very positive direction. People like AOC and LNOD, the squad, are really fucking good at garnering views for on fucking Twitter and social media and shit. And if they connect with somebody like Pelosi and they can actually turn that into some sort of like caucus momentum or whatever, it's a very, very positive thing. Very good. Dumping that dipshit AOC's chief of staff, it was highly combative. Get that dipshit out of here. And then Pelosi building bridges is really, really good too. Please respond to this Ben tweet. I saw this. So I said Ben admitted on stream that the only way socialism works is if we had a global socialist revolution, and people think that was a good argument. Ben responds, I'm sorry, but this is just false, and I'm disappointed to see you make this claim. Rewatch the video. I literally said nothing even close to this. What I did say was, you can't reasonably help yourself to the premise that the U.S. would be the sole island of socialism in a capitalist world, given that any realistic scenario in which the United States became socialist would almost certainly be part of a much larger global trend. What is the distinction here? You're basically saying that socialism doesn't work in the U.S. alone unless like other countries or every other country starts jumping in with it. What is the meaningful distinction between these 2 points? Like, okay, dude. You have to read his books. Like, if you want, you guys can try and find like the clip in the debate where he talks about that, but okay. I need to go downstairs and eat. Okay, I've been eating Chipotle every day since I got back. And it's actually been so easy to like eat like not that much.
That feel when Destiny got unbanned from Twitter and everyone was expecting Pogu content. But instead he just posts daily doses of cringe weird champ.
Well, it's cringe because now I'm attacking the people you like instead of the people you hate, so. But holy shit, compared to like French fries and cheeseburgers, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot easier to control your daily calories eating this kind of shit. Is there no other places near you? Yesterday I got ramen. I went to, there's like a ramen house across from me, which is good. One thing I didn't know is how delicious fucking pork fat is. Fuck, it's so good. I always get, I think it's called chasu. It's like pork, it's like fatty pork belly or whatever. God, it's so fucking good. Oh my God. Inside their like spicy ramen bowl. It's so good. Are you even Cuban if you don't like that shit? Okay, some Cuban people are a little fucking weird. One thing, fuck, my family would do this shit. I don't know if this is like I don't know if this is a Cuban thing or just my family. Do all Cubans always have, like every Cuban I knew always had like a big loaf of like that long, they called it Cuban bread, but it's just like a long, hard, I'm doing like jerk off fucking shit. What am I talking about? If I type in Cuban bread, will this show up? Yeah, this shit. Oh, fuck. Yeah, okay, yeah. Everybody has like this shit. And I think even my uncle would do this thing where they would smear like fat, like just lard on the bread, and then they would just eat it. Ugh. Fuck that shit. Too much for me. That's a Cuban sandwich? I don't know what it is, but it's just not. Ugh. Dark. Oh, Germans do it too? Yeah, fuck that. When you get ramen, do you drink the broth? Yeah, I wish I could find a spicier ramen place, though. I don't think Japanese and Chinese food is just not that spicy. But it's really good. I like the flavors, though. I feel like I'm kind of wondering, I get kind of worried. I think the reason why I like spicy food so much is because I just have no fucking sense of smell. I wonder if that like impacts my ability to enjoy like other types of food. I don't know. Have Indian food? Yeah, I don't have any good Indian places near me, or I haven't gone looking. Indian food is so fucking good. Dude, my uncle would make these, God, I should take this recipe. I don't even know how. My uncle would make something called black beans and rice. That's all it is. This is like every fucking Cuban dish I've ever had has like a black beans and rice foundation. But these black beans were so fucking good. He would put like 700 fucking million different ingredients into this fucking pot. And it was so goddamn good. Holy fucking shit. Oh my God, it was so good. Do you still eat seaweed? Is it vegan? Isn't it? I get my, those rice balls are so good. Fuck, I'm so happy I found it. They have little sriracha packets at it. You get like a ball of rice with meat on the inside. You put sriracha on it, and then you wrap seaweed around it, and you eat it. God, it's so fucking delicious. Oh my God, it's so good. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna run downstairs for a sec. Chill. Now, you might not know this story. It's a little told story of American political history, but there were me and a whole bunch of other people that were doing